Okay, so when you're solving this subtraction problem here, you can make them both improper, right? But remember, you don't have to. You could also just make your common denominator first. So if I made my common denominator first here, then I can see my first fraction is larger than my second. I have 12/15 minus my 2/15, so 6 and 10/15. This I can do my subtraction, and then I would just simplify down my final answer, and we would get 6 and 2/3 here. Whoops, and I had, this is, oops. So notice this might be a little easier than making them both improper, but either way is fine if you have a strategy that works, if you like making them both improper. As long as you get down to the same final answer, that's okay. So don't be thrown off with your parentheses and your negative. This is just like when we were adding and subtracting our negative numbers that were whole numbers. We're going to rewrite this with the winning sign. 8/6 minus 9/5. I'm going to follow my same steps I did. Find your common denominator and then go ahead to subtract. So once you get here, I like to rewrite it like this. 40 minus 54, the whole thing over 30. Right? Now, we only have 40. We don't have any whole numbers in the front to break apart, so we are going to be in debt. 40 minus 54 gives me negative 14. And that negative sign, it doesn't matter where you put it. You could put it at the top. You could put it in the middle. You could even put it on the bottom. The whole fraction is negative if there's one negative sign. And then you still go ahead and simplify your final answer just the same way we did when we were adding and subtracting positive fractions. So again, we see we have two signs in the middle. So let's rewrite it with our winning sign. Go ahead and find your common denominator. Right? Remember, on this one, we're not going to have to change both. If it helps you, you can always list your multiples to find that common denominator. And then do your subtraction. On this one, right, we can still rewrite it like this. And then you're really just doing 10 minus 7, which we get 3/6. And we know that simplifies to 1/2. Okay, here I have opposite signs. Remember, we have negative 4.5 plus 2 wholes. So you can make this first one improper. Negative 9/2. And what can we put underneath a whole number? 1. And then I'm going to rewrite it with my common denominator. 2. Now I'm just solving across the top there. So I'm just doing negative 9 plus 4. Positive or negative 5? Negative 5 over 2. So when we make it into a mixed number, negative 2.5, leave that negative sign in front of the whole fraction. So if Kyle's pouring out 3/4 a liter of liquid and then in negative 3/4, and then he pours out another 1/2, then we're subtracting, right? What's the overall change? So go ahead now and follow your regular steps. Make your common denominator, rewrite it with your common denominator, and then solve. rewriting it this last step like this really helps, because then you're just almost ignoring the denominator and just solving -3 minus 2. -3 minus 2 gives me -5. Yeah. And you want to think about it, you were pouring out liquid. If you're pouring out 3/4 and a half, altogether you're pouring out, right, 1 1/4 cup. Let's take a look at this next one here. Right, go ahead and follow the regular steps like we do. Now, if we're subtracting a negative, what do we know about our answer? It's going to be a bigger negative. Go ahead and find your common denominator and follow your steps. Once you have your common denominator, you know your answer is going to be a bigger negative. So what can we just do with those fractions? Add them, yeah. -2, right? 2 plus 6 is going to give me -8. And then 21 plus 32 gives me what? Right, 53 56s. So the whole thing is going to be negative. You could have made them both improper and done the same steps and then turned it back into a mixed number, but this is a little simpler. Once your Khan Academy Pass is done, you're going to work on your math space assignment. So remember, just look at the directions carefully. Some of them are going to ask you to put the answers in as a mixed number. Some of them ask you to put it as an improper fraction. You got to read what it says. Let's try one together. If we needed to list these fractions in descending order, show me how you would list these in descending order.
Like least to greatest.
Descending is greatest to least. It's going down.
Yeah, that's right.
So put the biggest one first. Okay, so once you have the same denominator, then it's easy to see, right? Descending is biggest to smallest. We can put them in order here, just like this. Okay, you're also going to have a couple word problems on there. Let's look at one like that. Look at this one here. Victoria is baking muffins and a cake. The muffin uses 2/3 of a cup of sugar, while the cake uses 1/4 of a cup of sugar. How much sugar is needed in total to bake the muffins and cake? If it's in total, what operation do we need to do? Adding. Exactly. So once you have your question, then you make your common denominator, right? Rewrite it with your common denominator, and then just go ahead and add them together. Okay, so sometimes, right, you're quick to say, I'm not sure what to do. Notice how I highlighted the numbers I needed and the keywords to figure out how to solve that. You can go ahead and start on your math space.